Well, it's October 5th, and I believe it's Wednesday. And boy, do we got a lot of news for you today. And instead of having Andy here today, I brought Hunter in, who's another one of our brokers. So, Hunter, I can't see you in the camera. There you go. Say hi, Hunter.
How's it going? Happy to be here.
So anytime y'all want to give us a call at 800-753-8534. Ask for Robert or ask for Hunter. Or you can call us at 323-380-5485. All right, let's get started. U.S. stocks actually fell on Wednesday. And giving back some of the sharp earnings or gains from the last two sessions as the Treasury yield rose. So if you look at your stock portfolio today, it's most likely going down. Oh my God. That sound's going to haunt you probably. But the Dow Jones Industrial Average actually declined 363 points or 1.2%, and the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ composite actually dipped 1.4% and 1.8% respectively. And it's just the beginning of the day. So look for it to probably dip a little bit more. Hopefully you don't lose too much today. This is why you want to have gold and silver in your IRA or in your possession, because now you have something to fall back onto when other things get really bad. So there's a lot of news I want to cover with you today, and one of them is really shocking, and it actually has to do with nearly half. Listen to this, you guys, and then give me what your input is on this. But nearly half of Americans right now, according to what this Hub or Lending Club report, roughly 60%, more than half, 60% of Americans say that they're living paycheck to paycheck right now. And a figure which hasn't budgeted much overall from the last year, which was 55%. And this is despite inflation hitting 40-year highs, according to this recent Lending Club report. And they even go on, they say even people earning six figures are now feeling the strain, with 45% reporting living paycheck to paycheck versus 38% last year. Robert, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a tough thing, especially these are high-income earners, right? This is what 10 to 15% of Americans who are earning six-figure greater incomes are facing. What are they facing again? They're facing a hard time living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah. More consumers are actually living paycheck to paycheck, and it indicates that many are continuing to lose their financial stability.
That's 60% of high-income earners
living
paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, and the reason being is the Consumer Price Index, which measures the average change in prices for consumer goods and services, rose a higher than expected 8.3% just in August alone.
Everybody's feeling inflation right now. Everybody's feeling the wrath of these CPI numbers coming out. This is there's going to be more and more.
You have any idea? What do you think it's being driven by?
What's inflation being driven by, or people living paycheck to paycheck?
Just inflation. It's being driven by increases in food, shelter, like your rents, things like that, your mortgages, your medical care costs, and now look at gasoline. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but gasoline prices are starting to go back up again. And although real average hourly earnings also rose because people's incomes went up as well, a seasonally adjusted 0.2% for the month, they remain down 2.8% from a year ago.
Wow.
So you're still in the hole.
Well, I look at it from this aspect. Listen, I have a house of 4 people, right? And I believe that for groceries, for example, I'm paying $300 to $400 weekly in groceries. That's no joke. I'm probably paying maybe $100 to $150 a week in gas. So yeah, I mean, Americans, whether you're making $25,000 a year or $150,000 a year, we're all feeling it in our pockets for sure.
Well, here, listen to what Bank of America says. BOA. Bank of America found that 71% of workers say that 71% that their income isn't keeping pace with inflation. And this is resulting in a 5-year low in terms of financial stability. Wow.
It's unprecedented.
It's big numbers. I mean, you've got numbers like that are, just destroying everything that you worked so hard for, right? And it's no secret that prices have been increasing for every day for Americans, not only for goods and services they purchase, but also in the interest rates that they're paying to fund their lives.
I mean, Hunter just graduated university. I mean, Hunter, do you have anything to say about this? I mean, you just graduated, you make a decent income.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. Gas, for example, I've seen go up $2 to $3 a gallon in the last 6 weeks at the local gas station down the street. And it just goes to show that, you were saying earlier, a 6-figure salary does not go as far as it used to. Clearly, the impact of inflation is heavy. And kind of back to what you were saying, you got to find a way to play a little defense right now.
And Hunter, you're young. I mean, come on, man. I'm 62. You're young too. You guys are in your 20s. But think about this. I mean, where's this economy? Where are we headed? Look what this future has brought for you. When I was your age, things were great. We had a lot of cash in our pockets. Things were great.
Right.
The only way you have a lot of cash in your pockets anymore, from what I'm seeing, is being like the Green Goblins, like yesterday, or any of these thieves out there that are just, robbing you and taking your money at gunpoint. Hey, listen, I want to share something else with you. Bloomberg noted last month that more U.S. consumers are saddled now with credit card debt for longer periods of time now. And according to a recent survey by creditcards.com, 60% of credit card debtors have now been holding this type of debt for at least a year. Holy moly. And up 50% from a year ago. While those holding debt for over 2 years is up 40% from 32%. So what does that tell you? It just tells you it just is getting worse and worse and worse. And according to the online credit card marketplace, they're the ones that are actually stating this news out there. So those of you with credit card debt, it might be smart for you to figure out other ways to raise the cash or do something, because you're just sinking yourself deeper and deeper and deeper. I had a friend of mine call me this morning. And she was telling me, she's like, well, I got scammed. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because she's wanting to borrow money. And she's like, I got scammed out of a lot of money from a lending company. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And so there's a lot of scams out there as well. So you got to be really careful about the ones that are scamming out there from these lending companies. Never pay money to get money.
That's what I was going to say. I've been hearing a lot of these false lending companies or these scam lending companies are making you put down a deposit.
Yeah, that's what she did. I'm like, how much did you put down? She says $3,500. I said, for what? For a $10,000. I said, you did what?
You're having to put out money to receive money.
Yeah. And that'll make no sense. And then she's up on her credit card. She took a mortgage. I mean, she just kept burying herself deeper and deeper. And the more you dig that hole, the bigger that hole gets. And the more you fall into that hole, you're not going to get back out. So I told her, I said, look, you need to have somebody watch over your finances, contact your kids. Oh, I can't do that.
Look, my mom just turned 68 years old. As soon as she turned 68 in last month in September, she signed over power of attorney over to me. Over everything.
I think that's smart.
I have to keep my house in order. I have to keep her house in order, and there's just so many scams out there right now.
I'll tell you what I told her. You listen to this.
What's that?
Told her, I said, I'll lend you the money.
Right.
She needs $10,000. I said, I'll lend you the money. I have the money. I'll lend you the money. I said, however, you have got to get your children involved. And you know what she told me? I can't do that. Then I said, I can't lend you the money. I said, but if you get the kids involved, and let them take over power of attorney from you, then I'll go ahead and lend you that money because I know now that you're being watched. And her son is a police officer. I won't mention your name out there if you're watching, but her son is a police officer, and her daughter is also very up there. She's a doctor. And and the thing is that and then she started telling me she broke her wrist, she broke her knee, she did all this, and I'm thinking, my God, you need help. So power of attorney, those of you out there that need help, get a power of attorney. Times are not easy right now, and they're not going to get any better from the numbers that are pointing toward everything. All you have to do is listen, and according to creditcard.com and the others, that numbers are going up instead of down. Math don't lie. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, like, Hunter, you were telling me that, some of your friends who are a little bit older than yourself and younger, they make decent incomes, but you said they're working like 3-4 jobs on the side, part-time gigs. What's up with that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of, younger people are, I think that a lot of this younger generation is aware of what's going on and they're trying to prepare themselves, because out here in Los Angeles, the rent is so high. Like I said, I'm not even kidding. This gas station I've been going to the whole summer, I've seen go up $2 a gallon in about a month. And we're just seeing all this happen fast. So yeah, I have a lot of friends who, have to support themselves, provide for themselves at a young age. And yeah, they're working multiple jobs to combat this. It's pretty crazy.
You said something. I want to share something, and then I want to talk about some other news that came in. Something that I learned a long time ago, and it's a crazy story, but this lady that I met, and she was this world-known psychic, right? But it was so funny. She'd smoke a joint when she'd talk to you, and then she would like channel all these people. But everything this woman ever told me came true.
Right.
And she's world known. I mean, she's well known. She's up in San Francisco. I don't even remember her name, but it's years ago. And she helped find like a person that was dead with a Scotland Yard and anything. But she'll be smoking a doobie and she'll be like going into this like channeling. And she said to me, you got to do something in order to make life better for you. And so those of you that are listening to this, you can either listen to it or just think it's bullshit and go on with your life. But it worked for me. And she said, like and it just rang my bell when you said go into a gas station. She said, you got to change the way you do things. And instead of going to like, a lot of us, we get stuck in the same rut. Like instead of going to the same gas station every day, change up, go to a different gas station. Instead of walking down the block this way, walk the other way. Change the way you do things, because if you keep doing things the same way over and over, it becomes like a habit with you. So just try it. Try changing the way you do things. Instead of going to this grocery store, go to a cheaper grocery store, or go to a different grocery store, right? Gasoline, go to a different gasoline store. There's all kind of things to do. I got some news. So this came out yesterday, and it talks about the United Nations, and I want to share this with you, Robert and Hunter. And it talks about the United Nations stating, the United Nations demands, not stating, they demand. Now, this is a United Nation demanding that all central banks stop rate hikes and switch to price controls instead. What does that mean to you?
First and foremost, I don't see how, an intergovernmental organization has the ability to dictate monetary policy, right? Think about the United Nations. Their job is to maintain, like their purpose is to maintain international peace, right, between countries. You have the UN right now pleading with central banks to make a pivot. That says a lot. Whether it gets done, it's to be said. Do they have the authority to tell the Fed or central banks globally what to do? Absolutely not. But it's interesting. That's a first.
Well, listen to this. So the United Nations agency that deals with global trade is demanding that all central banks stop rate hikes and instead switch to price controls. And they argue that policymakers appear to be hoping that a short, sharp monetary shock along the lines, if not the same magnitude as pursued under Paul Volcker, when you guys are young, but Paul Volcker took and raised the interest rates to 20%. And that's what they're afraid that the feds are talking about, because he keeps talking about Paul Volcker, Jerome Powell. He keeps talking about what Paul Volcker did. And they say, under Paul Volcker, will be sufficient to anchor inflationary expectations without triggering recession. And that's what they're talking about. If they keep raising these rates, they're afraid, and even the banker, they're afraid that they're going to cause a recession. Well, I'm afraid to tell them already that I think we're already in a recession.
Right.
It's happening. But in 2023, it's going to be, I think, way worse than 2022, as much as I hate to say it. I don't want to be the scarcity or the doomsdayer or anything like that, but the numbers point to 2023 being worse than 2022.
Our people are going to hear us first saying this. This is going to be a dark winter. This is not fear-mongering. This is not, to make you uneasy or to give you anxiety. You're hearing the truth. We're headed towards a really dark winter. The Federal Reserve has lost control over their monetary policies and their systems. And I'll be honest with you, it's like Andy always says, they got it wrong before, they're going to get it wrong again. They're just, they're leading us into a potential depression. It's what it looks like. It's what it seems like.
Yeah, they're possibly leading us into it. Listen to what they say. Sifting through the economic entrails of a bygone era is unlikely. However, to provide the forward guidance needed for a softer landing, given the deep structural and behavioral changes that have taken place in many economies, particularly those related to financial, market concentration, and laborers' bargaining power. So, get ready, because I think we're in for a bumpy ride.
I agree with you, 100%.
I want to share something. There's this guy, I just love him. I mean, he's great. And I mean, I could see me being a Peter Ducey. But
he's so funny.
Peter Ducey, well, he calls that, yeah. And I mean, and they take his questions. I've been waiting for the day that they literally kick him out, but they take his questions. Anyway, listen to this. So yesterday, White House press secretary, her name is Karine Jean-Pierre, right? And she was actually stumped, and she resorted to talking points when Peter Ducey literally asked her about gas fluctuations under Joe Biden. And he says to her, "You said that the president was responsible for gas prices when they were coming down." Which was just, remember, we were talking about this just a couple of weeks ago. I said, it's just a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Gas prices are going to go back up.
Right.
And he says, is he responsible for the gas prices going up? This is what Ducey asked her. And, all you got to do is look at a couple of weeks ago, Joe Biden, President Biden, took credit for gas prices coming down. And I want you to hear this if you can. I can't wait till I can show you the videos, but I want you all to hear this.
Gas prices, I know I got criticized for going to the stockpile, right? Well, guess what? Gas prices are down $1.30 a gallon.
Guess what?
Gas prices, I know I got criticized for
Guess what? Gas prices are down. But guess what? Gas prices are going back up. I wonder if he could say it. So gas prices are spiking again. In fact, Washington, Oregon, Nevada, California. I mean, alone right here, how much are we paying?
You're seeing $8 a gallon in some places.
Yeah. But it'll go even higher. Yeah, in fact, I've noticed that on the gas pumps that they've literally made it for like more digits.
Yeah.
Like when it gets to $10 a
It's a
gallon.
little faster now.
You notice that?
Yeah.
You wonder if you're really getting that amount of gas in there. I'm sure you just wonder sometimes. But listen, California, Michigan, and other states now are seeing a sharp rise in gas prices. So, President Biden, are you responsible for the gas prices going up? And you know what, whatever, his press secretary said, no, it's Putin's fault. She stuttered as she got out the word. She said, old Biden regime taking points. So it's a lot more nuanced than that, she said, nuanced than that. She says, you know this. There have been global challenges, there have been pandemics, and Putin's war, is what she said. So again, they're blaming it on the Putin's war. I just know right now it's hitting our wallets.
Hey, that organization, that regime, whatever you want to call them, they're fake news. Like they're
Fake?
They're fake news. Like, I mean, listen.
What do you mean by fake? They're fake?
Yeah, they're 100% fake news. Number one, they're manipulative, right?
I better be careful.
I
Well,
want to get canceled.
we don't want to get kicked
Listen,
off.
You can't take credit for something that's going good and not take accountability for when things are bad, right? I mean, I come from a sports background. Like I can't.
Right, you were a boxer.
I can't take credit for my wins.
You got a boxer and a basketball player.
And not take credit for my losses. Like, it's all in the same, right? It's the same polarity. They're two of the same poles. Things are going good. Acknowledge that. If things are going bad, acknowledge that things are going bad.
I think it would be better. I think it would be better for his administration if they just told the truth.
Yeah.
It's like gambling, You want to always tell about your wins and your losses.
Right.
A lot of people don't like to talk about their losses.
That's 100% correct.
That's so true because they're embarrassed by it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll give you some more interesting news. This was something that shocked me to the core. And not only shocked me, shook me.
Let me open my ears up then.
Yeah, you need to hear this. So, Biden's record now, our U.S. debt surpassed, listen to this, $31 trillion for first time ever. It's the first time in U.S. history that the national debt has surpassed $31 trillion. 31 trillion. And the Treasury Department data Tuesday showed that the total national debt was 31.123 trillion as of Monday. And this new milestone actually reached the federal government's insatiable spending. In other words, they're just spending. And it has slowed considerably after the COVID-19 pandemic. And in the months following the outbreak, the national debt rose by $1 trillion in just a month's time.
Wow.
In a month's time. Not just once, but twice in 2020. And as a result, the federal government spent $3.1 trillion more than it received in 2020. And it spent $2.8 trillion more than it received the following year. So Biden's policies, what they'll do is they'll increase the national debt for years to come. So you guys, the presidents with the largest percentage increase in the national debt are, here they are. So you have President Roosevelt. He did 1,048%. Added to debt was 0.236. You had Woodrow Wilson at 723%. You had Ronald Reagan at 186%. George Bush at 101%. And then you had Barack Obama at 74%. So Franklin Delano Roosevelt increased the debt in 1930s, and Obama increased debt the most by 8.6 trillion.
Wow. Well, you just got to look back at it. In 2020, national debt was 26 trillion. I think $26.8 trillion. It's a 5 trillion increase from where it was at to where it's at today, and that's just 2 years.
Yeah.
We could see a 3x off of that number, right? 15 trillion more in debt because of Biden. We could see a 4x, right? $20 trillion extra in debt in the next 2 years. I mean, who's to say that we don't double from 31 to 62?
This is why it's so important. Listen, even those of you that are young out there and you may have a small IRA, you can actually take it any age. It's just the 401k that you can't move, but you can actually take an IRA and you can transfer it into a self-direct and take off those chains that are holding you down, because that's all they're going to allow you to buy is stocks, bonds, mutual funds, or put it in a money market account where it's just in cash. Cash is great, but the problem with the cash is, well, guess what? Inflation. So your dollar's becoming worth less and less. So put it in something that's store of value like gold and silver, and now you have something to fall back onto. So again, diversify, diversify, diversify. Hey, stepping away from that, I want to share something with you that I was watching last night. Again, I almost fell off my chair. And I was watching this guy named Tony Bobulinski. And Tony Bobulinski was not only Hunter Biden's partner, but Joe Biden and Jim Biden, business partners. And they were involved in this big thing. Anyway, I'm willing to share it now because it's all over the news. So I'm not giving you any fake news or hoax. It's on Daily Beast. I saw it everywhere. This is big news. And back on October 22nd of 2020, when Biden was vice president and he was running for president, okay, Tony Bobulinski held a press conference that has since been viewed over 2 million times. And Bobulinski is the CEO of Sinahawk Holdings, which was a partnership between the Chinese operating through the CEFC chairman, Yi, and the Biden family. Listen to this. And by the way, FBI, he took this to the FBI, everything. And the FBI said, we'll get back to you in a week. And they never got back to him. And not only did they not get back to him, but Tim Tebow, the one who resigned, he's the one that had all this information. Listen to this. And in this press conference, Bobulinski claimed that he met with Joe Biden at the Beverly Hilton on May 2nd of 2017. And that Tony Bobulinski was joined by Hunter Biden, Jim Biden, and Joe Biden. And that they discussed the Biden's family business plans with the Chinese. This is like, I was like, and Bobulinski just came back out yesterday, and he's asking the FBI to bring him back in, start this all over again. And he's wanting to do this because we're talking, this is a decorated naval commander. This was a decorated military naval guy, Bobulinski. And he just wants the country to understand what's going on with all of this Biden family and what's happening. So I was listening to this and it was like, wow. And you could tell this guy was talking from his heart. In fact, when Tucker Carlson talked to him about the CIA and he had a heartbeat. Like he said, I could feel my heart skip when you mention those names. Mm-hmm. So it was also during this press conference that Bobulinski shared this infamous email that described the payment schedule, including 10% held for the big guy. Guess who the big guy is?
Is it Joe Biden?
It's Joe Biden. Joe Biden's the big guy. And later, Bobulinski sent a text to Jim Biden, Joe Biden's brother, who to me, he looks like, I don't know, he looks rough.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he looks like mafia or something. To me, I just saw him. He has a big old bald head, and he just looks like...
He looks mafioso?
He looks like a big, heavy Joe Biden. But anyway, he says, Joe Biden's brother, on the same day, May 2nd, 2017, saying, great to meet you and spend some time together. Please thank Joe for his time. It was great to talk. Thanks, Tony B. And Joe Biden famously, according to this, it says Biden lied to the American public at a 2020 presidential debate. I remember listening to this when he claimed that his son Hunter Biden didn't make any money in China or engage in unethical overseas business deals. And during the debate, Biden said, my son has not made money in terms of this thing about talking about China. And we now know that this was clearly false. And now there's more evidence at Joe Biden's meeting with Bobulinski at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. In fact, Joe Biden spoke at the Milligan Institute Global Conference back in 2017, and guess where it was held at?
Why don't you tell us?
The Beverly Hilton. The same hotel where he met with Tony Bobulinski the night before.
It all comes back full circle.
Let me tell you, Beverly Hills, California, May 3rd, former U.S. Vice President Joe Biden speaks during the Milligan Institute Global Conference 2017 at the Beverly Hilton Hotel on May 3rd, 2017, Beverly Hills, California. There's a photo of him here, standing there. And this guy, I can't even say his name, Applebaum, whatever, also produced several items of evidence previously reported by this guy named Joe Hoff at the Gateway Pundit, confirming that Bobulinski's assertions are legit, and has evidence of payments from China. And in September, witness Bobulinski revealed it was Timothy Thibault, who was walked from the FBI offices just last month. Remember that?
Yeah.
He resigned or he retired or something. Who helped bury information about this Biden crime family that he gave to the FBI. And this is what the Washington Free Beacon reported. Listen to this. The witness, Tony Bobulinski, now has concerns that the formal official, Timothy Thibault, helped bury information about his dealings with the Biden family that he gave the FBI. Sources told the Washington Free Beacon. Thibault retired from the FBI last week. This is all written in this.
This is huge.
This is huge. Last week, amid allegations from whistleblowers that he shut down an investigation into an avenue of derogatory information about Hunter Biden in October of 2020. Senate Republicans began scrutinizing Thibault earlier this year over anti-Trump rhetoric that he posted on social media. Now, this is all under the Washington Beacon. This is news that was out. And it had been unclear what role Thibault played in Biden investigation, which began in 2018. But his oversight of Bobulinski means he oversaw one of the most significant witnesses to come forward with information about the Biden's business links to China. The FBI interviewed Bobulinski for 5 hours. This is what he was talking about on the show last night. On 5 hours on October 23rd, 2020. Now think about it. You're in an office, you got FBI agents, and you're being interviewed by them for 5 hours. After Bobulinski publicly disputed Joe Biden's claim to have never discussed business with his son. Bobulinski said he met with Hunter and Joe Biden in May of 2017 to discuss a multi-million-dollar deal with CEFC China Energy. Whew. A Chinese energy conglomerate with ties to Chinese military intelligence.
Wow.
The California-based businessman also said Joe Biden is the big guy referenced in cryptic emails discussing equity payments from their business deals. He says, in my hour-long meeting with Joe Biden, we discussed Biden family business dealings with the Chinese, with which he plainly familiar, Bobulinski said at a press conference before his FBI interview. Text messages show Bobulinski and Hunter Biden arranging a meeting with Joe Biden at the Beverly Hilton Hotel.
Oh, he has a.
They were showing the text message.
Yeah.
And all of this stuff, by the way, is all confirmed. It's all real. This is the information that he gave to the FBI, according to what I've been hearing. And all this information now is in the FBI's hands. But now they're saying that Tim Thibault was in charge of it, so he's asking the FBI to start the case, start the investigation again. Not only that, he came out and literally stated that he will go on CNN because CNN is not even wanting to report any of this. It's mind blowing, y'all. It's mind blowing. So listen to this. Bobulinski, according to these sources, Bobulinski's attorneys had multiple interactions with Thibault after Bobulinski's FBI interview. So his attorneys were communicating with the FBI, and from what I was listening last night, the FBI basically stated, hey, we'll get back to you in a week. And they never got back to him. It just vanished. And listen to this. So they say that T-Ball told Bobulinski's lawyer that the FBI would reach out, here we go, if additional information was needed. But the Bureau has not made contact with Bobulinski since then. And on Tuesday night, last night, Bobulinski joined Tucker Carlson on Fox, and he discussed the Biden crime family and how the FBI and American media and tech giants actually suppressed the story. Remember, what's his name? Zuckerberg even said he suppressed the story. So this is real stuff. And Bobulinski said he spoke with the FBI official, but official Tim Tebow never called. And then Tebow dropped the investigation. After all, Joe Biden is a Democrat.
Hey, listen, do you think that this quote-unquote big guy has America's best interest in mind?
I don't know. No. I mean, when you're talking about China having connections to China, military intelligence, and he's got all this information, it's kind of scary what's going on.
Like, I think about like what information is given so that you're able to receive equity payments, what information is provided, what conversations are had to where you're structuring out a multi-million-dollar deal. Like,
I don't know. And Robert, I hope we don't get kicked out, but I'm just repeating the news, what's out there, because a lot of people don't have access to this type of news, but it's all public. And these are all, literally, he sat down with the FBI, and then the FBI never got back in touch with Bobulinski. And now Bobulinski is offering himself back to the FBI. And like I said, when Tucker mentioned to him about the CIA, he said, man, you just made my heart skip.
Right.
And this is a legitimate, decorated naval guy, commander.
He served our country.
He served our country. And he still wants to serve. He said, I love our country. And he said, but what the FBI is doing right now by hiding this information, it's not good. It's not good for any of us out there. Anyway, let me get away from this for a minute. We were talking about the Green Goblins.
Oh, goodness.
Right? And in fact, last night, it's so funny, after we talked about it yesterday morning, it was all over the news.
Right. Yeah.
Even on the normal news, like the regular, Channel 5 and all that, they were showing the Green Goblins. I came up with the name Green Goblins. It should be what they're called, the Green Goblins. And I'm sure they'll strike again because they haven't been caught.
Right.
They haven't been caught, Hunter. And these Green Goblins, anyway, there's another Green Goblin out there. Only this one is called Disney.
No.
And Disney actually just finally they canceled this release, but it's been playing in other countries. And it's called The Little Demon. Have you heard about this, Hunter?
No.
Oh my God. So The Little Demon, it's about a woman that's impregnated by Satan
Oh my God.
and her Antichrist daughter. Oh my God. And just when you thought Disney had reached the bottom, the company announced it was airing FX show Little Demon about a woman impregnated by Satan and her Antichrist daughter.
Jesus.
Man.
Back in my days, we watched, there was a show called The Exorcist, right? But this is for kids. We're talking little tiny kids are actually, listen, on August 29th, Disney announced that it would air a new comedy about a woman impregnated, sexed by Satan and her Antichrist daughter. And this show began streaming on Disney in Australia and New Zealand with expectations of releasing in other markets very soon. In FX Little Demon, listen to this, an animated comedy featuring the voices of, guess who?
Oh, no. Oh.
Danny DeVito.
No way.
Danny DeVito. And Aubrey Plaza. First of all, why would they even do it?
I don't know.
Danny, come on, man. You need that. Come on, man.
Money?
You need money?
Yeah,
You gotta think about it. You got grandchildren out there? You got your grandchildren and you want them to watch Satan impregnate your grandchild? Come on, man. But listen to this. It says it's been 13 years since being impregnated by Satan. Oh my God. And a reluctant mother, Laura, and her Antichrist daughter, Chrissy, attempt to live an ordinary life in Delaware. However, the two are constantly thwarted by monstrous forces, including, I can't even read this.
Is this a cartoon?
This is a cartoon.
Oh my gosh.
Including Satan, who yearns for custody of his daughter's soul.
I'm at a loss for words.
I think you gotta.
Yeah, you got the wah wah wah.
Oh, we got to do the wah. That's what you get, Danny DeVito and Aubrey Plaza. That's crazy, you guys.
Yeah, he's so funny. I don't know why he would do that.
Why would he do that?
You know, It's Always Sunny. Great show.
Wait, ain't he that little midget?
Yeah.
Danny DeVito's the
You
little
see It's
midget with
Always
the
Sunny?
with the wig on his head,
It's
a
Always
bald
Sunny.
head or whatever. Is he? Is he? I think.
He wears a wig sometimes.
I think so.
He's short.
But
yeah.
he's
always.
he must be 100 years old. Maybe that's why he's doing this. He
Probably
needs the money.
70s. Probably 70s. I don't think he needs the money.
Why would he do something with Satan? Satan.
He's made so much money off It's Always Sunny.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he needs the money.
This to him is probably comic relief. It's probably super funny.
How can that be funny when you've got Satan impregnating?
Because you have all these
an Antichrist daughter.
Because you have all these low vibrational people watching this silly show.
Wow.
That's what it comes down to.
Wow. Well, listen, I've enjoyed talking to y'all. We'll be back on tomorrow. We're getting it set up. We're going to be having, in fact, finally, I've got the person that's going to be coming in and showing me how to run all this stuff. And we'll actually be showing videos as we talk about it. So we'll talk about it and then we'll show a video and then we'll ask you your comments on it as well. And then we'll answer your comments on this as well. So just give us a little more time. We're fine tuning it. This is our second week actually going on and we'll see you tomorrow. God bless y'all.
Have a good day.